leave, we consider the matter closed. That's the Indiana Fever. That's a bold statement. That's a black woman that has accused two white guys of doing something, and it's so clear cut from the witnesses that were there, probably from the other players, that this guy did nothing, that the Indiana Fever are willing to put out a statement saying, nah, this matter's closed. They didn't do anything wrong. They chose to leave.
Watch that security guard's face. That confusion isn't an act. She has no idea what Jackie Young is claiming happened, because nothing actually happened. Two paying customers sitting courtside at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, getting escorted out mid-game while thousands watch. And here's what makes this particularly damning. The Indiana Fever had to issue a statement the same night, clearing those fans completely. No violation of the fan code of conduct. No racist comments. No threatening behavior. Nothing. But the damage was already done. Those two men paid premium prices for courtside seats to watch the Fever take on the Las Vegas Aces on what should have been a statement game. Instead, they got publicly humiliated on national television, accused of something they didn't do, and forced to make a choice: sit there and endure the spectacle, or leave voluntarily to avoid further embarrassment. They chose to leave, and before the night was over, WNBA players and media personalities were already celebrating their removal.
Well, two Indiana Fever fans got kicked out of this game tonight, and I guarantee you there's going to be some bullshit tomorrow. What it's going to be, I don't know. What the narrative is going to be from the Aces, I don't know. My boy Johnny Root right here. Las Vegas Aces Jackie Young made the refs kick out a couple of fans sitting courtside in Indiana. We do not know the reason yet.
This happened during a game the Fever desperately needed to win. They were coming off a tough loss to the Minnesota Lynx, facing a Las Vegas team that's won 2 championships in the last 3 years. The Aces went on a run in the second quarter, and head coach Stephanie White never called timeout. The Fever's offense, which had been historic all season, got held to just 9 points in the third quarter. 9 points. Against elite defense, sure. But that's the kind of quarter that exposes depth issues. Caitlin Clark finished with 20 points on 7 of 20 shooting, including 2 of 10 from three-point range. She had 8 assists, but also 8 turnovers. In the fourth quarter, she hit crucial shots that should have sealed the victory. A three-pointer with 4 minutes left. A steal and layup with 3 minutes remaining. Another deep three with 1:51 on the clock that gave the Fever a 2-point lead. Then she missed a critical free throw with the game tied at 75 in the final seconds of regulation. In overtime, up by 1, she drove to the basket and turned the ball over with no foul called. Chelsea Gray hit the game winner for Vegas. The Fever lost 78-75 in overtime.
So Callie ended up dropping a statement, said a statement from Fever PR on the fan incident tonight versus the Aces. Following a report of a comment directed toward a player, arena security spoke with the fan involved and witnesses. Security determined there was no violation of the fan code of conduct. The fan was not removed from the arena, but elected to leave. We consider the matter closed.
And that's when the smear campaign started. Not about the basketball, not about the overtime thriller, or Caitlin's missed opportunities, or Kelsey Mitchell's 28 points on 10 of 18 shooting. No, the story became about 2 fans who allegedly said something offensive to Jackie Young. Except they didn't. The Fever's official statement couldn't be clearer. Following a report of a comment directed toward a player, arena security spoke with the fan involved and witnesses. Security determined there was no violation of the fan code of conduct. The fan was not removed from the arena, but elected to leave. We consider the matter closed. Read that again. Security spoke with witnesses, multiple people sitting nearby who heard the entire interaction, and their conclusion: nothing happened. No code violation, no removal. The fans left because they'd been publicly accused and embarrassed, not because they'd done anything wrong. But watch what happened on the broadcast.
Proof. And then here's what really blew my mind. Candace Parker is calling the game for Amazon TV. And she's defending Jackie Young and celebrating. So it's good that they just got to sit over there and shut up and not talk. Play the clip.
The right people. So what I love about today's game. You can't sit on the sideline and say anything.
Consequences.
Candace Parker, calling the game for Amazon Prime Video, immediately sided with Jackie Young without knowing a single fact. What I love about today's game, you can't sit on the sideline and say anything. Consequences, no one will. And this game, to sit courtside and think you're protected because you paid for your seat? Get out of here. Think about what she's celebrating. Fans being ejected without evidence. Paying customers losing their seats based solely on a player's accusation. And she loves this. She's proud of it. This is progress to her. The play-by-play announcer joins in, equally enthusiastic about fans getting tossed. Two white men accused by a black woman, and the immediate assumption from the broadcast team is guilt. No investigation needed, no benefit of the doubt. Jackie Young pointed at them, so they must have deserved it. Except the actual investigation proved the opposite. And Candace Parker owes those two men an apology she'll never give.
Out the fan and got him removed, right? So let's go to Jackie Young's response. So Jackie Young ended up saying, he was just chirping all game and I let him have it. Then he just made one that was a little bit too far. Then Tony East here said she didn't elaborate on what she felt crossed the line, was glad about the in-arena response. I mean, I need the meat and potatoes here. I mean, what happened? What did he say? Right? Abbreviated, paraphrase.
Chelsea Gray doubled down after the game. When asked about the incident, she said, "Stuff gets said on the sideline quite often. It wasn't directed at me, it was directed at Jackie. And she told somebody, and clearly they found reason to kick them out. They don't just do that for nothing. If they actually felt that there wasn't that they had a right to remain, they would have remained out. Notice the assumption. They don't just do that for nothing. Except they literally did. The investigation found nothing. Zero. And when the reporter pushed back with that fact, Chelsea had no response, just stammered and moved on. This is what happens when you're conditioned to believe accusations without evidence. When you're told that certain people are always victims, and certain people are always oppressors, the actual facts become irrelevant. Jackie Young felt disrespected, therefore someone must pay. Truth doesn't matter. And here's what nobody's talking about. What was actually said. Jackie Young refused to elaborate after the game. She told reporters, he was just chirping all game, and I let him have it. Then he just made one that was a little bit too far. When pressed on what crossed the line, she wouldn't say. If something genuinely racist or threatening was said, why not share it? Why not let people know exactly what kind of behavior is unacceptable? The vagueness is deliberate, because specifics can be verified or disproven. Vagueness allows the accusation to stand unchallenged.
We are about to get blasted, all right? We're about to get blasted, man. Look at what this man had to say about Caitlin Clark and the fan base.
To talk about with Caitlin Clark on the court, of course, but it seems lately that the conversation around the Fever Guard have surrounded off the court social issues in her commentary, or lack thereof. Clark addressed that pregame yesterday. Let's take a listen.
First and foremost, you speak when you feel like you want to speak. I try to just show up and be myself every single day, and I hope, fans can feel like they can connect with me in that way. But at the same time, I'm 24 years old. I'm trying to navigate life. I'm trying to navigate playing at the highest level. And then, sometimes you get asked a lot of questions, and sometimes that's your responsibility. And then sometimes, you want to keep the focus on basketball. So I feel like you just do your best to navigate it.
And then ESPN's First Take jumped in the next morning. Not to discuss the basketball, not to analyze why the Fever's offense collapsed in the third quarter, or how Stephanie White's timeout management cost them the game. No. Stephen A. Smith used the incident to blast Caitlin Clark for not doing enough to control her fan base. Let that sink in. Two fans get falsely accused, publicly humiliated, and cleared by security. And somehow this becomes Caitlin Clark's responsibility. She needs to speak out more. She needs to condemn her fans more forcefully. She needs to remind everyone that other players are good too and deserve respect. Stephen A. actually said, she's 24, she's not 14. She's highly intelligent and accomplished. The WNBA is under assault. You've got contemporaries in the league taking hits because of narratives and perceptions that favor you. You gotta help quell that. Under assault from whom? From fans who pay money to attend games and support the league? from people who've driven attendance and viewership to record levels. The WNBA had its best season in history because of Caitlin Clark, and Stephen A. wants her to apologize for it. He continued, "If you know that's not the case, you gotta speak up about that. You would know whether what's happening to you is excessive compared to others. You are smart enough, articulate enough, accomplished enough to assist in quelling the noise aimed at a brand and product you represent."
Fam, Caitlin Clark has been doing the most for the league. Not only money-wise, but vocally too. Vocally too. Because for some reason, nobody else has to speak up about their fan base. It's always Caitlin. Caitlin has to speak up for her fan base. People who might not even be a fan of the league, a fan of her, just putting on a facade. Trolls. She got to speak up for all of them. But for some reason, nobody else has to speak up. Nobody else have to speak up for their fan base. I'm not understanding this, man.
Here's what Stephen A. is really saying. Caitlin Clark needs to be more grateful. She needs to constantly remind everyone that she's not special, that players who came before her deserve credit, that her success is really a team effort. She needs to manage not just her own behavior, but the behavior of millions of fans she's never met. And if she doesn't do this to his satisfaction, she's failing the league. This is the same league where the Seattle Storm's co-owner was caught on video yelling and cursing at teenage fans earlier this season. No first take segment about that. No demands that other players speak out. But two Indiana fans get falsely accused. And suddenly it's a national crisis, requiring Caitlin to issue statements. The double standard is absurd. Angel Reese doesn't have to answer for her fans. Aja Wilson doesn't have to police her supporters. Breanna Stewart isn't expected to condemn everyone who cheers for her. But Caitlin Clark, in her third year, still on her rookie contract, has to be the league's spokesperson, therapist, and moral authority. And she's already done more for this league than anyone in its history. She's promoted past players constantly. She's praised her teammates and opponents. She's handled absurd criticism with grace. She's elevated everyone around her. But it's never enough.
I guess, according to Lloyd the jeweler and her teammate Jack Young, they were yelling at us. They were hurting our feelings with the deadly weapon of words. I know the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces are not used to playing in front of crowds. I know they're accustomed to playing in front of empty seats. They are used to standing on the court and being able to communicate clearly with their family who are sitting up in the rafters. But when 17,000 people are inside of an arena, they're going to be talking. That does not give you probable cause to kick them out. Last night, the Indiana Fever issued a statement about this mythical incident, and I want to give them credit for their outright refusal to take these pretend victims at their word. Check it out for yourself. We briefly looked into what happened last night. We spoke.
The Indiana Fever's statement was bold, and they deserve credit for it. In today's climate, it would have been easier to issue some vague corporate response about taking all complaints seriously and conducting a thorough review. Instead, they put out a definitive statement. We investigated, we talked to witnesses, nothing happened, case closed. That takes courage, because they knew exactly what would follow. Accusations of bias, claims they're protecting racist fans, suggestions they don't care about player safety. But they looked at the evidence and told the truth anyway. And think about what that statement reveals. Security didn't just take Jackie Young's word for it. They interviewed the fans. They talked to witnesses sitting nearby. They gathered actual evidence. And based on that evidence, they determined no violation occurred. This wasn't a close call or a judgment decision. It was clear-cut enough that the Fever felt comfortable issuing a public statement exonerating the fans. But Jackie Young still got what she wanted. Those fans left. They were humiliated on national television, and players and media celebrated it. Mission accomplished. This is the second time this season the Fever fan base has been targeted. Earlier in the year, multiple WNBA players and media members referred to Clark's supporters as the dark side. Not some fans, not a small subset, the entire fan base. Millions of people who've supported women's basketball, many for the first time, labeled as a dark force that needs to be combated. Here's what makes this entire situation so damaging. The WNBA just had its most successful season in history. Attendance records shattered, viewership numbers that seemed impossible just 2 years ago, playoff games drawing bigger audiences than regular season games used to dream about, charter flights finally secured for all teams, increased investment from sponsors, real momentum for the first time in the league's 28-year existence. And instead of capitalizing on that momentum, instead of welcoming new fans and building on the foundation Caitlin Clark helped create, the league is actively hostile to the people driving that growth. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert should have suspended Jackie Young for this incident, not because she felt disrespected by fans, but because she made a false accusation that was proven false by the arena's own investigation. You can't allow players to weaponize security against paying customers without consequences. If a fan can be ejected for making a player uncomfortable, what happens when players abuse that power? But Engelbert won't do anything. She's terrified of being accused of not supporting her players, especially black players making accusations against white fans. So she'll stay silent, the behavior will continue, and the message to fans will remain clear. You're not welcome here unless you show the proper deference. Look at the pattern. Chennedy Carter body checks Caitlin Clark away from the ball in June, and league veterans defend it as welcome to the W. Dajanai Carrington pokes Clark in the eye during the playoffs, then mocks fans on social media for caring about it. Multiple players spend the offseason demanding the league allow biological men to compete. And now Jackie Young can get fans ejected based on false accusations with zero repercussions. At what point do fans decide this isn't worth it? At what point do casual viewers who tuned in for Caitlin Clark decide the league doesn't want their support? Because that's the message being sent loud and clear. The contrast with how other leagues handle fan relations is stark. When an NBA player has an issue with a fan, there's an actual investigation. Security reviews video, multiple witnesses are interviewed, and if a fan crossed the line, they're removed and often banned. But if the accusation is unfounded, the league doesn't celebrate it. They don't have broadcasters cheering about consequences and players defending the false accusation. The WNBA is the only league where false accusations against fans are treated as victories, where paying customers are guilty until proven innocent, where players can point at anyone they want and have them removed, and the league will back them regardless of evidence, and the media enables it. Candace Parker celebrated those fans being ejected without knowing what happened. Stephen A. Smith used it as ammunition against Caitlin Clark. ESPN's coverage focused on whether Clark needs to do more to control her fans, not on whether a player abused her authority to target innocent people. This is why the WNBA can't sustain its growth. Not because of the basketball, which has genuinely improved, not because of lack of talent or compelling storylines, but because the league actively alienates the people trying to support it. You want to know why ratings are up, but jersey sales lag behind? Why viewership spikes for Fever games but drops for everyone else? Why casual fans tune in for Caitlin but don't stick around for the broader product? This is why. Because the league treats new fans like invaders rather than customers. Because players are more concerned with policing fan behavior than earning fan support. Because the narrative is always about what fans owe the league, never about what the league owes fans. Those two men who got ejected last night, they're not coming back. And they're going to tell their friends what happened. And those friends will think twice before buying tickets. And slowly, quietly, the momentum dies. Not because of one incident, but because of the pattern that incident represents. The WNBA had a choice this season. Embrace the growth, welcome new fans, build on the foundation, and create sustainable success. Or protect the existing culture, resist change, and prioritize player feelings over fan experience. They chose the latter, and they're gonna pay for it. So here's my question for you. If you were one of those two fans, would you ever give this league another dollar? Would you buy tickets to another game? Would you purchase a jersey or watch on TV? Or would you decide that a league that treats paying customers this way doesn't deserve your support? Because that's the calculation thousands of fans are making right now. And the WNBA seems determined to make that decision as easy as possible. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think this kind of analysis matters, hit that subscribe button, because we're not stopping until someone in this league starts being held accountable.